Yeah, I don't know. I'm talking.
So we are back. Finally, we had a little bit of a delay. I'm not going to share the gory details with you. Desi might want to if he's so inclined.
Nah,
Might be something that he
okay.
likes. But in the meantime, I have actually been watching a wedding take place on Twitch. I don't know why.
Wait, what?
Yes, there's
What?
a wedding taking place on Twitch right now. This isn't the first time this has happened either. Some like popular streamer is streaming his wedding right now.
Yeah, I'm watching this.
But anyway, we can't talk about it for too long because we do have to get into Champion Select. As we see now, both teams are in and bans are coming into play. Udyr being the first off the table. This is not the first time we have seen an oddball ban come out from Fatty and Friends.
Yeah. They really, I like these strange bands that are coming out, the Blitzcrank and the Amumu. It just shows like they're really doing their research, and like they're taking away champions that they think are going to be a threat. We saw how that worked out for them last game. Hopefully, they'll be able to turn around this game versus Omega.
All right, so Tristana once again disappearing. It's a permaban until she gets her changes, but even still, her late game should be pretty monstrous.
Do you think the changes are going to affect her that much? Like, of course, they're going to really destroy the early game damage that she does. But what about in late game?
Well, the early game damage isn't taking a terrible hit. I'd say her mid game is going to take a nosedive, but her late game, she'll have this like 4 or 5 second window where she's just going to crush anything as long as she has 3 items. But besides that, the range is a huge factor, and I don't think that they touch the resets on her jump. Those are the two biggest things, her range and the resets. Besides that, she should be all but fine. It's just, I don't think she's going to be necessarily deserve a ban.
We'll have to see. So, Azir getting taken away.
Hecarim. Yes.
That's
why he was banned last game.
That is bigger than the Azir ban. This is going to be very interesting. It could be seen in the mid lane. He could be I forgot who it was. Was it Ko?
I'm not sure.
Oh no, Ko's a jungler. I'm not sure who played the mid lane Hecarim, but that was so dominant. And it wasn't even because he's dominant in the mid lane. It was because I forgot which team it was, but the opposite team just didn't do enough to shut him down, and he was able to just pick up a couple of solo kills, and that allowed him to snowball the game.
Well, Hecarim does get played in top as well, so I don't know what the option is going to be. Orianna does fare well against the Hecarim mid. The shield just allows her to negate so much damage, and then she can return the punishment very easily. And against Nidalee, she has heals, she has multiple... She's mobile. I was going to say she has multiple means of escaping, but I was thinking more along the lines of she gets a movement speed buff in the bush, and she has the pounce. But
like, yeah, she's mobile enough to escape the Hecarim if he does decide to engage on her.
Yeah.
So there's not too much to be worried for both these picks. Those are two really safe picks right there. We'll have to see what Asno Gordo and Dixis does.
What needs to happen from Fatty and Friends, they need to have someone that can respond to the split push or kill the split pushing Nidalee. Because with what I'm thinking, the team comp is going to line up for Omega. They are looking to have nearly just split push nonstop, more or less. And then they're going to have a 4v4 comp that can essentially outfight Fatty and Friends, whether they're 4v5 or 5v5. But with the Zillion coming into play, that is going to really stir things up, because that's an extra life.
Well, after being destroyed by the Ahri, looks like they're going to be picking up their own Ahri. And an Ahri against Orianna, that's going to be... That's going to just allow Orianna to just farm up, because I don't think Ahri has too much of a kill potential against Orianna. Like, she doesn't have to get closer to farm minions, and even if she does, the shield will block so much damage that's going to come out from her.
It's a skill matchup. It's a battle of wits. And it's going to come down to who can land the most skill shots and who's a little more proficient with farming as well as the auto attacker. So it's... whoever can get the earlier lead will probably take it home for their team. But you really can't count on each of these players because they did pretty well for themselves previously. But in terms of who has the stronger team composition at this point in time, I would think that it's Fatty and friends. Picking up the Maokai, that hasn't locked in yet, but Maokai Quinn. Quinn is a phenomenal duelist. Caitlyn can kind of bully her in lane phase, but Quinn, once you get to that mid game point, but when you have Blade of the Ruined King, some players like to go Trinity Force, others like to go for Ghostblade. I would say that Trinity Force might be better in terms of upfront burst when you go into bird form, but even still, the Quinn damage is ridiculous when you're in a one-on-one fight.
The thing is, you don't really see her in the AD carry position. You see her in the top lane position. Wait, what is this team comp?
Maybe what is the team comp? It's going to be a Jungle Hecarim, AD Quinn, Maokai top, Maokai against
She has
Turtle.
teleport. Wait, she has something. That
They're
she
waiting,
has something
they're
that
probably
AD
waiting
carry.
to trade.
Oh yeah,
Because Plasma Demon is the top laner.
yes, I didn't notice. I didn't notice Fahoot's spells. This is correct.
Wait a second.
But still, that's not something you usually see though in the AD carry.
Hold on a second. Are we seeing a support Pantheon?
No. Wait.
I
What?
think we are. And it makes a lot of sense, actually. Face off against Zillion, Caitlyn and Pantheon can just go crazy on Zillion, levels 2 on, and try as best they can to just shut down the Quinn lane. Try to not let Zillion get rolling at all, delay his level 6 forever, for the most part. And then from there, they should be able to do quite well for themselves.
Possibly. It'll rely completely on the not only on the Pantheon and whether he can how far away he'll be able to hit the stun. As in, not what I mean by that is like how quickly can he hit the stun, and how quickly can voltage engage upon that. Because if he doesn't have quick reactions, the stun will be gone. Piltover or Peacemaker will probably miss. And they'll just lose the advantage right there. And with that, like after the stun after the Aegis comes out from Pantheon, there's not going to be too much chasing potential for him. So then Zillion will just be able to throw a couple of bombs on him, and essentially they could win that trade. So we'll have to see.
It's going to come down to timing, but when you have two players that are using voice communication, they can time it pretty well. So the biggest factor, just like when we saw the Blitzcrank Caitlyn lane, it's going to come down to when do those Yordle snap traps come down. Can you keep that squishy locked down long enough that you can churn out enough damage to either force a summoner spell or pick up a kill? But the roughest thing is going to be, you can almost expect that the focus is going to be on Zillion because all he has is his flash and then movement speed buff, but movement speed doesn't do much on a targeted stun. So that if they keep focusing Zillion, that'll give Quinn free reign to just lean into either Caitlyn or Pantheon. My guess she's going to want to lean into Caitlyn. And it can be fairly tricky to see how this thing is going to work out. But from what I'm seeing right now, there are two very good bowl delivery systems for Uber, it's not Uber, but Ubi Cheese's Orianna. But there's a whole lot of tankiness, decent amount of engage, and they also have that free revive for Fatty and friends. So in terms of who wins out, I'm not entirely sure. Because with that Nidalee in the top lane, that almost forces Feud to build up with a lot of raw damage, just go toe-to-toe with that Nidalee to be able to stop that split push. And there's really not much that Fatty and friends can do in a 4v4 if Feud is out of the picture.
You know, it's going to be really difficult for Plasma Demon to try and stop a split push. So they might send an Ahri to stop it. Just clear the wave. Don't even try to get in range of a spear, and just not like completely counter it, but just clear the wave. Like your tower can take quite a number of waves before actually just dying if the Nidalee can't get auto attacks off, and just using that Nidalee, maybe set up a flank on the Nidalee and then use that to push an advantage, or if you know Ahri's not there, then you can just try to get picks off. I mean, not complete picks, but use the Hecarim to engage on someone that's caught out.
Yeah.
And just like play from there. It's really iffy though, because like there's not many members on Fatty and Friends to stop a Nidalee push.
Exactly.
And they don't.
That's
they
why
don't
I
have
have to force Quinn up there. They're really Quinn's the only one with the reliable burst that can also keep chasing a Nidalee.
But then you lose the AD carry.
Exactly.
Then you lose the AD carry.
The decision making is going to be very pivotal, but at the same time, if they can just simply shut down Nidalee in lane, then they have nothing to worry about. But that's all going to come in time.
What if you were to What if you were to engage on Omega, and then the minute the teleport starts coming out, then you disengage off of it? Because as it is, with Hecarim and Zilean and Ahri, that you have so much escape right there. So you engage on Omega, force the teleport to come out, then you disengage, and then you free up that lane, and then Nidalee, she's gonna have to choose between staying with the team or split pushing. And if she chooses the split push, then you can 4v5.
Yeah, it's going to come down to warding and where each team is in terms of gold advantage. But at this point in time, it's up in the air. It's really going to come down to how are these lanes going to really pan out. Can Quinn get the ball rolling, become incredibly strong, and shut down the Nidalee split push? Or are Fetty and Franz going to be forced to push 5v4 fights over and over, and then in turn make Evil Geek try to sit back and do something to keep his team in the action? But anyway, the game has finally loaded up, as we can see, and so we will have Desi, just like usual, take us through the level 1s.
So we see pings already quickly coming down from Fatty and Friends. Hecarim, he has headed towards the top lane, probably just to throw a ward there. But meanwhile, the rest of the team, they're making their way through the jungle. Maybe they're gonna set up an invade. I don't expect it, but they do have a pretty strong level 1, especially with Ahri Charm.
Yeah. So now with Hecarim running towards top, my thought process is he's actually going to be starting blue and look for an early gank bot because of the super aggressive support Pantheon lane. And that ward, I think it just missed. It's just outside the bush.
It did miss. It did not hit. It did not get in the bush. So Caitlyn does not know that Quinn and Zilean are in there.
And it's probably safe to assume that it's going to be a straight up 2v2, but without having the knowledge of where they are at that point in time, it makes it tricky to not detect if there's a potential invade or not. You always have to be on edge, wondering, all right, are we gonna have 4 or 5 people run out of this little corridor, or am I gonna be able to just hang around and left for a little bit? Caitlyn seems to be feeling pretty safe right now, so not too much of a worry.
She hasn't spotted up by the ward though, so they will. So they have the knowledge. They know there's not going to be a lane swap. I don't think they would have expected a lane swap either. There's not you don't really see the lane swap if you have Caitlyn. But they know where she is. They know where she is. They know Amumu is starting blue buffs.
Well, it's kind of a given, especially since they're on purple side. Amumu, if you are on blue side, could easily start red because that red buff does. You have essentially the same clear time as if you were to start blue. But it's always good to let Mumu have that blue buff right off the gate. And as no Gordo, the big question is, does he head towards Mumu's red? And he will not. He's just going to go for a standard jungle path and most likely look for...
I think you're right. I think you're right. He's going to try and go for an early bot lane gank with the red buff. And possibly because of the lack of escape from Pantheon, they're going to try to lock him down.
Yeah, he's pure engage. And this actually might play out in spades because when you're on red side, you pretty much always expect that jungler to start his red. But if he starts blue and you start being super aggressive, it's going to be very tricky. There are no wards in favor of Omega in the bot lane, except for in the brush right in the middle of the lane.
Well, the trinket's coming out right now. That's gonna spot Hecarim. If he could choose, he could be expecting that ward and go the long way through the river.
They should have knowledge that a ward was just placed there, but he's still gonna run that way anyway. Oh no,
he's headed to this. He's headed towards mid, and he's turned. Yep, this is going to be a gank to the bottom.
No, if he hugs this wall, he's gonna get spotted anyway. Oh, there we go.
Wait, he's moving. He's moving. Okay, now Pantheon. He's expecting it. Here comes the engage. Pantheon jumps in straight onto Zillion, but the bomb is on him and the exhaust. Is it going to be enough? No!
They thought the bomb was going to take it. They thought the bomb was going to take the kill, so they backed off. Oh, that's rough. The potions that Pantheon had churning along were more than enough. Plasma Demon going to Twisted Advance, try to get away from there, but he is so low on health. The spear does land. Italy does not get the pounce off.
It's straight. He was marked. I thought you had extra range when you're marked.
You do. I think that he just botched it. I don't think he targeted the Maokai when he went to pounce.
Ah, that is interesting. In Zillion, he's playing way too safely. You know Pantheon's not in that lane. You need to play even more aggressive and allow Quinn free farm. Because as it is, Caitlyn, she was way too close to the Zillion, and he did not try to take advantage of that.
So at the moment, even though there's a slight gold disadvantage for Omega, they are working their way towards building an advantage in the coming minutes, because we have boots on King of Your Mom, which is a fantastic name. And with those boots, I'm fully expecting them to be hyper aggressive, because there's really no way to lock them down at this point in time besides the slight slow out of Zillion and a minor knockback, which clearly in that last gank did not work as planned.
Well, we'll have to see. They haven't. They're not playing too aggressive right now. I think they're waiting for him. Well, he actually is level 3 now, so he has all of his skills. The ward is behind them. There is a ward behind them too. So, if anything goes completely wrong, Nidalee could teleport. But in that top lane, though, Evil Geek.
There's no flash to pick her up, so that flash is going to save her. She's just going to get away by the hairs on her neck. Nicely done. And now this will give Maokai a little bit of breathing room. There is teleport available on her. Meanwhile, Plasma Demon, his teleport's down, but he's not too concerned. He already went back and bought. Picked up a second Doran's Ring, but that's going to delay.
But Hecarim in the mid lane. Charm did hit onto Ubi Cheese. Rubling is level 6, and she's going to pick First Blood.
Oh, that's tremendous. Rubling just hit level 6 as well in the middle of that fight, so he was able to use the Spirit Rush to get a little bit of added damage onto Ubi Cheese's Orianna. And now with a huge farm difference, as well as that one kill, that Ahri is going to be really terrifying.
And it looks like Evil Geek, he teleported to that top lane, doesn't want his tower to take too much damage, but that should prove a bit of a, that should prove a little bit, that each lane should breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that the threat of Nidalee is not going to be there for another 5 minutes.
Well, Nidalee did have to use the teleport because she didn't want to miss on the cannon wave. Cannon creep provides so much experience as well as gold that you really need to use your teleport. Oh, that was a
ward. that is unfortunate.
And the wave is pushing up too, so there's no need for that ward either. And luckily enough, it was just a trinket ward, so not terrible. Few taking a lot of damage from creep. Wow.
But both junglers are going to meet themselves in that tri-bush. Few, he's going to take so much damage, but now Amumu's there. The bandage toss doesn't come out. The minions are blocking it. And now Asno Gordo, he's going to be clearing up that pink ward. It's not going to be enough. It looks like Barcode does put a bit of damage. I mean, it's a barcode. I don't know what you
want. It's just always weird to see players use a barcode in League when it's so prevalent in StarCraft 2. It's like even pro players don't really use barcodes unless they really don't want their picks looked at. Oh, the charm just barely missed. And Spirit Rush just came up as well. So even if the charm did land, probably would not be able to secure the kill. Oh,
But
attack and distance just barely miss on Rubling as well. So each mid laner here getting away by the skin of their teeth each time.
will Asno Gordo be gracious enough to give Rublig blue buff? Or will he take it for himself? Charm misses. Yubi Cheese, though, he's losing this trade.
He's taking so much creep damage. I don't think either of these teams are really accounting for the amount of damage creep can do.
But Amumu is there.
Taking creep damage.
Barcode is there. Will he be able to hit the ultimate? He misses! He misses the bandage shots. Ari flashing over. Using the last charge of Spirit Rush to pick up the kill. And he's going to escape.
Second kill for Ari, as she already has an easy low Gerard. I'm not entirely sure why Ubi Cheese is trying to go toe-to-toe with the Ari, considering he has a Tear and a Doran's Ring. Those combat stats are severely lacking. What is going on here?
Amumu was there in that mid lane to try and prove a gank, but he missed the bandage shots. Meanwhile, Asno Gordo
also the shadows available.
Looks like Amumu caught out Hecarim, trying to take his red buff because Hecarim saw the Amumu in the mid lane. He was there to catch him out, but it wasn't. He doesn't have enough damage to fight the Hecarim. And now, UB Cheese, he's been spotted out, so they know he's there. They're just gonna take the red buff and just get out. They don't want to clear it.
And they're fine with taking that experience. If you can keep Amumu down, it's going to be very tough going into these mid-game fights for him to really tank up enough damage, because you're not only negating experience, you're also negating that gold income. And that is so pivotal. Amumu really only needs 2 items to be effective, but as you can see right now, even with, he's ahead in farm of the Hecarim, he's still not doing terribly hot, because he keeps only getting these little fringe creeps that are worth like 5 gold each.
Hecarim, red buff is up for him, and he has his ultimate. No, wait, no, it's on
used that
cooldown.
on Mumu.
Yeah, but by the time he takes red buff, he could head down to that bottom lane.
We'll see what happens, but now Dizix being hyper aggressive on a Pantheon, the support Pantheon who picked up a longsword as well. Not entirely sure why he's going that route. If you get behind, should have at least gone for something to the tune of a Target's Brace, just so you get a little bit of gold income and generate gold for your carry.
Yeah.
But now,
yeah, as it is, he doesn't have anything gold. But Amumu in the bottom lane, so is Orianna. The ultimate by Zillion is gonna revive the Quinn, but will it be enough to keep her alive? Amumu uses the ultimate, but it's too late. Caitlyn fell to the Quinn.
But 2 kills for Fatty and friends in a 4-on-2. It was a 4-on-2, and they still managed to pick up 2 kills for themselves. So even though the Quinn went down, what a turn of events. The Zillion bombs are just putting in so much work. And at the same time, the Chrono shift, allowing Quinn to get back in the fight, picking up a kill for herself. And so now the raw damage difference is really starting to come into play. And now Pantheon picks
in a bad position. She has Spirit Rush up, but is she going to use it? She took so much damage. Yubi Cheese, he gets bursted down though. Rubling. Oh, Hecarim actually picks up that kill. And you do not want to fed Hecarim. Hecarim is just so powerful if he gets fed, and it's so difficult to kill him too.
Yeah, he'll easily have his Elder Lizard when he goes back to buy, but picking up these kills, he can now be hyper aggressive in Mumu's jungle and continue to keep him down.
Like as you saw, he just took Wolf.
Yep, it's just leaving Mumu these little fringe creep, and yeah, it's showing up as last hits on the scoreboard. But he's going to come nowhere near the gold value that Hecarim has at this point in time. And that's what makes it so difficult. So now, we've got 2-0 and 2 Ari with just about 100 farm. She's by far and away ahead of this Orianna, who still has no combat stats. Picked up a Chalice just for some more mana regen. But how long do they can hold off without any damage?
Oh my god, King of Your Mom taken so low by 1 combo from Quinn, and now he has to play very safely. He finally picked up Ancient Coin, but it's so late. He lost so much gold.
He's going to get no value out of it. Absolutely no. It's probably negative value at this point. you need to pick up that gold pretend item relative, like in the first 5 minutes or so. Because now with that pickup, if for it to pay off, he has to, I believe, just hold on for 20 minutes while being near last hits. He's not even really near these last hits anyway, so it's kind of a moot point that he picked this thing up.
And you were talking about how Quinn would usually go for Blade of the Ruined King of Yomu's or Triforce. He's going for a Bloodthirster first. Like, he's just gonna, like, sure, he's not gonna have as much as doing potential. It's not gonna be as powerful, but it's still gonna be doing so much damage. Meanwhile, Yubi cheats.
Oh!
He's taking so much damage. The last Spirit Rush.
He didn't even need to flash for that.
He did not. He had 2 more charges left.
There was 1 more charge, but even still, just if he just used the charge and a Q and an auto attack, dead Orianna. Or if he used Foxfire, dead Orianna. So it was a little bit aggressive, but securing the kill nonetheless.
If Fahoot's going in onto Voltage, the bomb isn't going to be enough. And now, Fahoot and DX's, they're just going to be putting damage on this tower. Amumu is there, but can he engage? The ward is going to spot him out. The bandage
did
toss
this dance last time too. Last time was a 4-on-2, and 2 kills still got picked up. A 3-on-2 with this significant lead. And now Hecarim is showing up. I don't think that Omega can fight this. They cannot stick around.
Amumu is there. Teleport coming in from Maokai. Now King of Your Mom is so low. And now, Asno Gordo going straight onto Kalen. He's been locked down under tower. He's going to be tanking. And the ultimate is on the Hecarim. The kills just go left and right. Zillion with a very nice ultimate, keeping Asno Gordo alive.
And funny enough, 15 minutes in the game, there hasn't been a move towards Dragon yet. It's just been heavily focused on kills and farm, and it shows. Look at the raw farm difference between these two teams. Every single lane has a huge advantage. There's a 40 farm difference between Maokai and Italy. Hecarim and Mumu a little deceptive, but Hecarim by far and away comes ahead on top, simply because of all the big creeps that he can in jungle away from Mumu. Ahri is more than double. Quinn and Caitlyn, there's a nice 30 farm difference as well. It's, oh wow, and look at the damage that Italy's not taking. She's dead.
Yeah,
I cleaned that up.
Asno Gordo, while all that was happening, he's been soloing Dragon. Fahoot's finally gonna go and assist his teammate. Just gonna tank it up a bit, and blue team's gonna take the Dragon.
4 towers, a dragon, 9 kill difference. All we need is a partridge and a pear tree, but we got Quinn, so I guess that works.
Of course. Looks like DX is going straight onto Orianna, getting the slowdown, but I don't think, even with Plasma Demon there, he doesn't have the damage to try and fight that.
Even after going double Doran's rings, Plasma Demon has his Rite of Ages. He had it complete like 14.5 minutes in the game. That's really impressive that he's had the ability to do that, because he was getting sort of kind of shut down early on, but then Nidalee was forced out of lane, and he just took full advantage of Nidalee being forced back.
Like, he was losing in CS at one point, but then once he was out of lane, like, he showed his true power. He was like, I'm going to farm all of this, and you're not going to get anything. Nidalee's actually going for a Triforce, so a bruiser build this game. Rubling, he doesn't have vision of the spot, so if he walks just forward a little bit more, he could have been caught out, but...
And he steals away the Wraith Camp, too. That's insult to injury beyond belief. Nidalee just cannot catch a break. I'm kind of surprised that
really
the mid is going with the Zeal, because her abilities scale so hard with attack damage. The Phage alone would most likely output more damage than a random crit on the 10 or 15% chance that you get from a Zeal.
I just don't think Evil Geek is very proficient with Nidalee, because we saw so many misplays in that top lane. But King of Your Mom tried to go in on the Zillion, but he got punished really hard for it.
He just completely took that bait beyond belief. And he has no damage either, so it's just really confusing why he would look to go in and fight that.
Now, Evil Geek has his teleport up, and Plasma Demon does not. So, if Omega engages on to Fatty and Friends, he'll have the teleport. They'll have the teleport, and it'll turn into a 5v4. But then Plasma Demon will just take that tower, and he'll continue pushing. And if Omega loses that 4v5, then it's just gonna be huge. It's just gonna be a huge loss for them. It's like, so do you like keep Nidalee in the top lane no matter what, or do you try and engage 4v5?
I think at this point it doesn't matter. Like, Pantheon comes with a man drop, but there's nothing coming of this fight.
Like, he dropped in, Rubling, he took so much damage, but he's back, and now Pantheon, he's trying to escape. Triple kill, going over to the Quinn.
There's no contest. It was such an easy 3v5. Pantheon got a decent drop in, but has no damage, not tanky. He absolutely implodes. Mumu implodes because he's simply stacking health, because that's all he can afford at this point. And then mobility boots. And I'm not entirely understanding the mobility boot pickup when his team was just looking to keep towers alive. Oh, and a botch pounce again.
He can't fight this now. He needed to hit the initial pounce because the execution would have been enough. But now, oh, Fehoot going really, oh, that is unfortunate for him. Fehoot trying to go for the kill, but he dies because of his greediness.
It's not the worst thing in the world. 500 gold does go to Nidalee, but the Nidalee is so far behind as it is that it's not going to make that big of an impact. If it went over to Caitlyn, it might be a different story. But when you have a Maokai that's able to tank up Mumu and Orianna at the same time, I think your team is sitting pretty. It's hard to justify saying that Omega is going to come back when they're just hitting 21,000 gold 20 minutes into the game. Whereas Fatty and friends, they're getting close to 40,000 gold in their pockets.
And they're just so far ahead. It's like the vision coverage from Fatty and friends that's been coming out is just so dominant. Asno Godo going in onto Evil Geek, and she has to get away. There's Zillion to come up with the kill. She does jump away, but Hecarim has his ultimate.
The 500 gold bonus that she got from that kill, she invested in Mercury Treads. It's very minimal in terms of magic resistance. It's not really going to save her when she's getting consistently crowd controlled. So it's just a weird investment of money.
Fehoot is 2v1ing and he's winning. Voltage, he had to escape, and now Fehoot's getting onto King of Your Mom.
King of Your Mom can kill him if you really wanted to right now.
It's not coming out though. He's continually backing off. And when Fehoot, he was stuck on the Pantheon. There was no way for Fehoot to get enough range to get onto Voltage. Voltage, he didn't have enough mana for his ultimate, but the range he possesses could have allowed him to just auto-attack him down while King of Your Mom was tanking him. And Fehoot didn't have... Yeah, this is dead. Vanish Toss misses. She's just gonna use the 3 charges.
Death Cap and Deathfire Grass. What more can you say? Oh my god.
You could say oh my god, because that was an insane amount of burst that just came out onto Orianna, even with the magic resist from Unholy Chalice. Unholy Grail.
18 minutes into the game, Orianna has her first damage item that's not a Dorm's Ring, but I think it's safe to say it's not going to be nearly enough. I think Unholy Grail is great on Orianna. It would be phenomenal if she had that with a pretty stacked tier, maybe close to Archangels when Ahri picked up her DFG. But Ahri with a DFG as well as a Death Cap compared to basically mana regen on Orianna, there's no competing against that.
The thing is, she only needs to hit a charm. After hitting a charm, that person is going to die. And it's just so deadly for Omega, because they know that if this person gets hit by a charm, you need to just get out, because if you try to help them, you're gonna die as well.
Plasma Demon, he went for Iceborne Gauntlet because he knows that there is nothing that can kill him unless he is grouped up heavily. If there's a big pinch on him,
Rubling hitting 3 members with the Q. Shockwave does come out, but it's not enough to pick up a kill, and now Cheese is on the defense. Ignite is on. The ultimate from Caitlyn is going to be enough to take the kill. Ignite is going to kill the Orianna, but now Fehoot's on the engage. She picks up a kill onto Nidalee, and now Barcode is in threat of dying. Voltage, he gets knocked back by the Hecarim ultimate, and that is going to be a clean ace for Fatty and friends.
And actually what cleaned up Cheese was not Ignite, it was just creep damage.
Well, meanwhile, Fatty and friends, they're going to pick up the tower, and they're also going to pick up the inhibitor, and this is just going to continue pushing their advantage. They have a wave. They have a wave pushing for them. Asno Gordo can't tank this tower. He has no
He's gonna
armor.
do it anyway, though. He's just barely...
Heal.
The heal
was
wasn't
forced to
needed.
come out.
It wasn't needed, but it was nice.
It might have been needed, because remember that the tower stacks damage.
It was already at max stacks, so one more hit, he would have been at like 80 or 90 health, so he would have been alright, but better safe than sorry. Oh, Banish Toss just going to miss over the wall. Dizix, he's going to be safe, so... And Quinn...
Asno Gordo's backing on a ward, though. He's backing on a ward.
I don't think they're going to be able to catch him, though. Yep.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Amumu had it. You could have bandaged shots over from blue buff to catch him out.
The thing is, he was hoping to see if there was anyone else nearby. Yeah, he could have used Banish Toss over the wall, but it still wasn't up in time. By the time it was up, there was already that window of immunity, so Hecarim still would have been just fine. Amumu would have been able to jump over the wall. It would have been cool. People would have cried bug and remake, but...
It would have been interesting if Amumu just Banish Toss Hecarim all the way over to the fountain.
That would have been a great way to end the game. That's for sure. But I think that bug has since been fixed a long time ago. But Hecarim, take a look at that build. Elder Lizard, Black Cleaver, now working towards Eternity Force. And he's pretty strong. Heals up decently well with all the damage that he's dealing. And there's the
King of your mom getting caught out. Like you don't have the vision coverage, so there's no reason to be that far out without your team. Yubi cheats, he's gonna eat a bomb, but the shield is gonna be enough to save him. That's not an AP Hecarim, people. That AP Zillion. That Zillion just gonna be doing base damage, but the burst from Fahoot takes out Nidalee, and Rubling jumps in using Spear Rush and jumps out immediately before the ultimate can lock her down. And now Fatty and friends, they're just dictating the way this game is being played. Asno Gordo, he's ignoring the team. He's pushing down this Nexus. And this is going to be all 5 members staying alive. 3 members dead. The ultimate from Pantheon is there. Plasma Demon just going to block the Caitlyn ultimate for his good pal Zillion. And this game is going to go over to Fatty and friends.
That's a lot of kills for a 25-minute game. Wow. So nicely done by Fatty and friends. And AP Zillion, it actually kind of was, because he had the Frostfang as well as a Medjai's Soul Stealer. I'm pretty sure he had a couple AP runes to boot. So his bombs were starting to hurt quite a little bit, especially against a team that had very, very minimal health. I mean, look at the health values. What bonus health was there? Mumu had 2 pieces of decent health, and then there's a Sightstone and a Doran's Ring. A couple Doran's Blades split throughout the rest of Omega, but even still, nowhere near enough to contest with a Zillion that has an experienced lead, as well as a little bit of AP under his belt. But nicely done by Fatty and friends, taking full advantage of any weakness that Omega showed, and they split it wide open. But anyway, we are going to take one more break. When we get back, we will be in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, in the Epic Fall Tournament 2014. My name is Nubius, joined here by the one, the only, the Desi Master, and we will be back in just a few.